Hello Year 9, I'm Mrs Harpin and both myself and Mrs Hampstead are going to introduce GCSE food preparation and nutrition to you.
Hello Year 9, I'm Mrs Hampstead and I also teach food preparation and nutrition.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to discuss is the course overview. So we study EDUCAS GCSE food preparation and nutrition, and it's split into two sections. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the exam, which is worth 50%. It's out of 100 marks and it's sat at the end of year 11 in June. There's an hour and 45 minutes. The questions are mixture, so normally starts off with shorter ones and then towards the end there's some longer ones as well. And the first section of the exam is a visual stimulus, so it might be on a certain practical skill and then it links in with functions of ingredients and nutrition and things like that. The second element of the course is a non-examined assessment, also worth 50%, and there's two tasks for this. So the first task is a mini food investigation. This is always carried out in the autumn term. The task is released on the 1st of September and it's worth 15% and there's 30 marks for that. The second task is the food preparation assessment, and this is the one where we're given a brief, and this is released on the 1st of November, and you research something and then you'll have a 3-hour practical exam and then before evaluating that, and that's 70 marks in total and 35%. The higher the mark you get in your NEA, the higher the chance you are of getting a better or higher grade in your exam. I'm just going to talk to you now in a little bit more detail about the 2 years. So in year 10 there's a high emphasis on practical work, and we do the different practicals linked to the theory at the time. You can see there that we teach through commodities and there are 6. So you can see we start with fruit and veg, moving on to cereals, the dairy section, meat, butter, oil, margarine, so it's fats and sugars, and then we look at alternative types of protein too. Within each commodity, we talk about provenance, about how food is grown or reared. We look at the different classification of them. We obviously link it to the nutritional elements and any dietary requirements or considerations. We talk about food hygiene and safety, storage and food science. Towards the end of year 10, we will introduce some mini practical challenges in preparation for year 11 for the NEA starting. And you can just see there down in year 11, the 2 NEA tasks when they are released. Once that is finished, after about Easter time, we will then look at exam preparation and revision, ready for your exam in June.
There's a high emphasis on practical skills throughout the course, and we link the practical work to whatever theory that we're studying about at the time. For example, if we're learning about fruits and vegetables, we would be using knife skills to prepare things such as a vegetable soup, maybe stir fries or curries, upside down fruit puddings, and things like fruit pies where you'd be preparing your own fruit filling for them. Other skills that we might be doing with knife skills, if we were studying meat, for example, we'd be learning how to cut cuts of meat, how to joint a chicken, and maybe how to fillet a fish too. But don't worry if you're vegetarian, because we cater for your needs and you could use alternatives and learn about the skills via video. We do different methods of cooking as well, so boiling, baking, shallow frying, learning how to use the deep fat fryer. Also different equipment such as the pasta maker. We make homemade pasta dough and laminate it using the pasta machine. We have ice cream makers too. And we learn how to do lots of different doughs, pastry doughs, short crust pastry, moving on to flaky pastry, laminating the dough, which is a much higher skill, and choux pastry. We also look at sauce making, setting off with more simplified sauces such as blended, roux sauces, and then more complex velouté type sauces. So we study a wide range of different skills throughout the course. We're going to look at some examples of practical work. Here are all examples that previous GCSE students have made. Some of them have been used for their practical exam that is worth 50% of the course, the NEA examinations. We can see there that we've got homemade doughs, homemade sauces, presented in very attractive ways, and each time it is a theme that you do your practical exam on. So we can see there that we've got a pizza dough in the shape of a wreath, and that was linked for the Christmas market. We've also got here some examples of sweet dishes, again all produced by GCSE students here at Penistone Grammar School. And we've got bar gatters using whisk sponges, sticky toffee pudding with homemade sauce, and creme anglaise, which is a more luxury custard sauce, homemade ice cream to brownies with fruit coulis. We've got cream slices made with homemade flaky pastry with feather icing at the top. And we've got profiteroles in a chocolate bowl with a caramel cage with
We've just put a short list together of some of the requirements that we think that you need when taking GCSE food. So below is a range of skills that we recommend. So it's really, really important that you enjoy food, particularly if you enjoyed what you did at Key Stage 3. Organisation is key. Being able to work to time deadlines is particularly important for the NEA2 when you've got a 3-hour practical exam. It's also good to multitask because we need to be able to dovetail 3 dishes in 3 hours. It's really lovely if you've got a passion for food and nutrition and you've got a willingness to try a different range of foods and dishes. It's also really, really good to link towards science, sport, geography and photography, just to name a few of the different subjects.
There are many possible careers from studying GCSE food, not just the obvious ones of becoming a chef or a dietitian, but many others: food product designers, food hygienists, food safety officers. Some of our previous students have gone on to have very good careers within the food industry. One of our own students now designs foods for Waitrose and her dishes are all over the country. Another student designs for Kellogg's and is international, the products that they produce. And we have another student that set off as a chef, ended up working for Raymond Blanc restaurant in Oxford, and now they're in New York at a Michelin star restaurant. So there are many possibilities studying food.
And finally, we've just spoken to some of our past students to ask them why they opted for GCSE food. This student in particular achieved a grade 9 last summer, and she took the subject because she really enjoyed it. It linked to her career and aspirations of being a dietitian. She enjoyed obviously the practical side, the nutrition and science element. On the next slide, we've also got some short feedback from other students too. Thank you for listening to our presentation tonight. If you'd like any more information, come and find myself or Mrs Hampstead in school. We're based in Level 3 Technology, or follow the link from the website to our team's virtual event tonight. Thank you.